What to do, what to do, what to do. There's so much to do. Under 2 weeks to the biggest presidential election of our lifetimes, maybe in the history of America. And bombshell after bombshell is dropping all over the presidential battlefield. These days, there is a daily release of a treasure trove of information being dropped on the head of Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and the entire Democratic establishment apparatus. Okay? Now, I don't know if you noticed this. Has anyone heard from Bernie Sanders? Because Bernie had a real movement that had like 30 to 40% of the Democrats on its side. I haven't heard from Bernie in a while. Has anyone heard from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Not really. Ilhan Omar, she came out and said something a week or two ago, but they're all under the radar. They're all hiding from Joe Biden. He's in the basement. The whole team that had this Bernie movement going is undercover. You know, in the Italian world, they say when they go in a war, they hit the mattresses. You go lay low. The whole party is laying low. Kamala Harris is jetting around in a G5 talking about the Green New Deal, but she got called out yesterday by Jonathan Karl, left-wing media reporter, and said, hey, isn't it weird? She did an interview yesterday with the cast of The Avengers. And Jonathan Karl, left-wing reporter, called her out and said, hey, isn't it strange that you've answered more questions from The Avengers than the actual media? Which is damn true. You can't get a question in with either candidate. They're the most hidden candidates in history, okay? Why? Because there are bombs exploding everywhere. Now, Joe Biden and his camp came out and said, oh, these Hunter Biden emails, they're just a smear campaign. They're not authenticated. They're Russian disinformation. The DNI came out and said, nope. Not Russian information. The FBI has now come out and said, we have no evidence that this is Russian information, okay? And now, one of the main things you need when you have a piece of evidence is called corroboration, okay? You need some corroboration. So these emails that are on this Hunter Biden email have other people on them, on the groups, okay? And one guy who's on the email, Hunter Biden's former business partner, confirms the emails, and he details Joe Biden's push to make millions from China. One Lieutenant Tony Bobulinski, business associate of Hunter Biden, on many of the emails contained in the email, has come out with a detailed letter saying that, yes, I am a real person, and what I am outlining is fact. I know it's fact because I lived it. I'm the CEO of Sino Hawk Holdings, a partnership between the Chinese operating through CEFC chairman and the Biden family. I was brought into the company to be CEO by James Gilliar and Hunter Biden. The reference to the big guy, which we talked about last week in the much publicized May 13, 2007 email, is in fact a reference to Joe Biden. The other JB referenced is Jim, Joe's brother. Hunter called his dad the big guy all the time, or my chairman, frequently referenced asking him for his sign-off or advice on various potential deals that we were discussing. I've seen VP Biden saying he never talked to Hunter about his business, yet I've seen firsthand that's not true. It just wasn't Hunter's business, and they said they were putting the Biden family name and its legacy on the line. I would ask the Biden family to address the American people and outline the facts so I can go back to being irrelevant. I'm not put in a position to have to answer these questions for them. I don't have a political axe to grind. I just saw behind the Biden curtain. I grew concerned with what I saw. The Biden family aggressively leveraged the Biden name to make millions of dollars from foreign entities, even though some were from communist-controlled China. God bless America. Okay? So here's a guy, former military officer, former friend, former business partner of Hunter Biden's. He's named on the emails. He's now coming out and saying, yep, I'm on the other side, and I seen it all. Joe knew about the businesses. Joe was consulted all the time. Joe's the big guy. Joe got half the money. Joe made all the decisions. Him, Hunter, and Jim will cut in on everything. So This is called corroboration, folks, and hopefully our intelligence apparatus is connecting the dots just like I am. I mean, I'm just a regular guy sitting in a studio in New York drinking a tequila, and it's pretty easy for me to piece it together. Now, GFX 16, Nico, adds a little more color to this whole conversation. GFX 16 is outlining how the Federal Bureau of Investigations and the Department of Justice, this is from Bernard Kerik, good friend of the show, former police commissioner in New York City. Breaking report, FBI, DOJ, and DNI all agree Hunter Biden emails are not part of Russian disinformation. He tags Twitter, Facebook, CNN, MSNBC. Start reporting. And, you know, that was yesterday, I believe. And they still haven't really started reporting. They continue to talk about how all these smears are just to confuse the electorate. And the fact of the matter is, if my son was out there saying, hey, you want to get to know my dad, you got to come through me. And I was the vice president of the United States. And I said, son, go shake down everybody in the world for all the money they got. And then we'll whack it up 50-50. You know, I just wonder how there's not something illegal in there. We had former intelligence officer on a little earlier saying, even though it looks scary, it may not even be illegal. But another Biden insider, in the midst of Joe Biden out there saying they've never done anything, Jack Posobiec from OAN says, bombshell, Biden insider admits he personally witnessed Joe Biden discussing business deals with his son, Hunter Biden. Okay, and I'm not sure who that is, but I think it's this guy, Devin Cooney, who's in jail already for some other criminal stuff he did. And apparently he was walked out of jail, and now he's an informant. He's also corroborating these emails. So there's a lot to look forward to in tonight's debates. I'm sure they're going to try every way to block Trump out from asking any questions. But Joe Biden must answer the question, and it shouldn't come from Trump. It should come from Christian Welker, say, Mr. Vice President, please put to rest these stories and tell us that you and your son were not getting paid from foreign governments to leverage the Biden name. And I don't think that's going to happen. I'm almost sure it won't happen. But I think if Trump keeps the thing not on Hunter, but on Joe Biden. Joe, did you get the money? Joe, are you the big guy? Joe, why did you and your son get $3.5 million? I think that's going to be a winning formula. He comes in with the closing argument I suggested, and this is a lock it up, drop the mic moment. Quick break, back after this with more Liquid Lunch. AC Mike Lopez is going to join us right here to talk about New Jersey.